Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Canelo Alvarez, and I also want to talk about Edgar Berlanga. And the question is, who's winning the press conferences? Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time to subscribe to the channel. It just takes one click. And also, if you could, hit the thumbs up button. It does help. It shows love and it supports this channel. Also, spread the videos around. Circulate the videos. Send it to a friend. Let's jump into this. So the question is, who's winning these press conferences? Is it Canelo Alvarez or is it Edgar Berlanga? I'm not going to lie, Edgar Berlanga is kind of growing on me. Now, do I believe in any... This could be Earth 19. I still think Canelo's going to mop the floor with him. But he's growing on me in the sense that I've been saying, boxing needs heels. It needs villains. Edgar Berlanga is a villain, and he understands he's a villain. I think he came into it thinking I'm going to be like a good guy, or like I'm the underdog, but he's turning off just to be the villain. This thuggish villain, and it's more of a Canelo, please save boxing from this idiot. Like that's what it's turned into. Who's winning the press conferences? Let me go with this. It's amazing that when asked how he's going to beat Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga says, "Well, you got to beat him with this." And I'm like, "You think you have more knowledge in the ring than Canelo Alvarez? Canelo Alvarez has more knowledge in his index finger than you have in your entire body, and you believe you're going to outsmart him." Caleb Planet couldn't outsmart him, and you believe you're gonna do it. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Cotto couldn't do it, and you believe you could do it. That's interesting. I doubt that. Okay, I've been saying since day one, since this fight was announced, the only way that Edgar Berlanga is gonna even be competitive is if he just goes balls to the wall and rushes at Canelo. He's much bigger. And he is a lot bigger, actually. When you look at the size of his head and you look at the size of Canelo's head, you look at his bone structure, he's not just taller, he's a bigger, thicker dude. But that doesn't mean anything. Canelo's been fighting much bigger guys this whole time. So he thinks he could outsmart Canelo. No. And I don't know who in your camp is telling you that that's the way to go. That's the strategy that we're gonna approach this fight from. We're going to outthink him. We're going to outsmart him. We're going to be so in the know. Our flow state is just going to be oozing over. I don't care how much flow you have. I don't care how you train. I don't care what tactics you come up with in the ring. There's nothing under the sun that Belanga can present to Canelo where Canelo will say, "Well, I've never seen that before." I don't think so. Now, so I don't think it's the route of intelligence. I think the route of intelligence is a very bad thing, and I don't go that route. Edgar Berlanga does have one quality that not everybody possesses, and that's the right amount of crazy. I think he has the right amount of crazy. When you add the right amount of crazy with delusion, because he's delusional, because he believes he's going to outthink Canelo, when you put those two together, he got some crazy over here, and he's got some delusion over here. Now, if you could just mend those two together for one night, or 36 minutes, who knows? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Crazier things have happened. Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. Crazier things have happened. Who knows? Who knows? I suppose... He's young, he's big, he's strong, he's aggressive. Apparently he has... here's the thing between confidence, self-belief, and delusion. You can say, well, I'm undefeated, and I've made it to this point where I've actually made it to where I'm going to be sharing the ring with Canelo. And for that, I'm accomplished. And for that, I had to claw and fight my way here, which he didn't, because he shouldn't be sitting in that seat. But nonetheless, if you're talking to yourself, if placing myself in Belanga's shoes, if I'm talking to myself, I can say, well, I place myself here. I must belong here. Many others have tried to clip me off, and yet I'm still here. And I've made it quite almost to the pinnacle. I'm almost there. I got one guy standing in my way. One guy standing in my way. And all the other guys that have been in my way, I've knocked off. So I don't see any difference with this guy. Now, if you take that theory and you put some delusion over that, and it just pours over that, then yeah. Because he clearly has the crazy. You know, he's like, I'm gonna slap him, and I'm gonna, like, you're not gonna slap Canelo. And it's funny when you look at the two of them, and you know, he's like, when I talk, you stop talking. And Canelo said, I don't want to stop talking. What are you gonna do about it? So you had that crazy, but the problem is you need to pick the right opponent to be crazy with. There are certain people you can't be crazy with because they're gonna match your crazy. They're gonna match your crazy with either crazy or aggression, but they're gonna match your crazy. And Canelo matched his crazy. You said all these things. You said you're gonna smack me. You said when I speak, you stop speaking. Okay, well, I don't want to stop speaking. Now, what are you gonna do about it? Well, what are you gonna do? You know, and it's interesting. Nothing happened. You know, so it's just like you gotta know how to toe the line. You know, you said you were gonna slap Caleb Plant. You didn't do that either. So you gotta know how to toe the line. Nobody's slapping Caleb Plant. Okay, Caleb Plant is kicking butt and taking names everywhere he goes. And nobody's gonna be smacking Caleb Plant anytime soon. But I do think that Berlanga hasn't sold himself. I'm not fully sure he sold himself on himself. I think there, like I said, there is the aspect of I've made it here, and that cannot be denied. He made it there. Can't be denied. Whether it was an early Christmas gift, whether it's political because, you know, Canelo really doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. Regardless of the reason, he made it here. He's here. He's going to be across the ring from Canelo Alvarez. That's true. But you can always, like, you can tell he doesn't believe it. Like, you can tell he has to, like, pump himself up. Because nobody else is pumping him up. You know, he has his team, and they're like, oh, you know, like, we're going to do it, and da-da-da-da. It's like, dude, you're saying that because you're related to the kid. You're saying that because you're going to get paid from this, and this is the biggest payday ever. But you don't really believe that. You don't really believe that. Then they have all these Puerto Ricans there, and they're mentioning Oscar De La Hoya and Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad. And I'm like, you mean the fight where Oscar De La Hoya was mopping the floor with Trinidad? Is that what you're talking about? And then they robbed Oscar De La Hoya? Don't bring that up. Like, that's the worst thing you could... Don't bring that up. Like, that's horrible. That's the best that you have. You don't have much. That will not suffice. Then you have Canelo just kind of like... He's, like, laughing throughout this whole thing. Because he's like, you're a joke, and everyone knows you're a joke. And you're almost... Berlanga's almost like an industry plan. Like... Canelo had to fight somebody. Who do we have? Who do we have that we think is going to be credible? And you know, he gives off this mean streak, and he's kind of thuggish, and they're like, who's a Puerto Rican version of Adrian Broner? And they're like, Berlanga. They're like, oh, that's perfect. I'm like, that's perfect. But Canelo is like, at least try to sell it on your end. He's laughing at Berlanga. He's telling people, oh, I'm going to finish him off for you. Don't worry about this. He has a smile the whole entire time for the press conference. Like, it's just, is it fun? Yes, it's fun. This fight is turning, this promotion in general, it's turning out to be more pleasing than I thought. I'll say it like that. Do I think Canelo's going to win? Yeah, duh. Do I think Canelo's going to wipe the floor of Belanga? Yeah, duh. Do I think it's going the distance? No, duh. Do I think this is a political move? Yes, duh. Like, because it's all about Canelo saying, listen, I'm not going to fight David Benavidez. Stop asking. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take an undefeated fighter who's young, who's big, who's strong, and has knockout power. and I'm gonna beat him up in the intro. And hopefully that will suffice. It's not gonna suffice because we know you're gonna win. It's not gonna suffice because you don't even seem threatened by him. You don't seem to have any doubt on this individual. The only person up there who believes in Belanga is Belanga. Let's be honest, it's Belanga. And I don't know how much of that is WWE and how much of that is real life.